Hi. Remember me? I think we are long overdue a catch up. So let's sit down and have one because my God, do I have some updates for you. Buckle up. Where to begin? Do you know what, I was gonna start off with an apology and I'm not gonna do that because in my last vlog, it was obviously the week of comp, big build up, and I do just want to say I have seen everyone's comments and I just want to say the biggest thank you for all of the support through that prep because it was tough. Obviously we had the most amazing day. I did a big reflection. If you guys have been keeping up with it and or missed anything, obviously everything has now been posted and it was now somehow 3.5 months ago, which is absolutely insane. But that day was everything I could ask for and more. But in light of all that, if anyone watched that vlog, you will have noticed, because I was very blatantly not okay, there was a lot of shit going on externally in my life at that point. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, it's taken me until now to be in a secure, stable, happy enough place to be able to go, right, let's just talk with a bit of hindsight because a lot happened. My life has changed drastically, and the thing that I struggle with, I wouldn't call myself like a big influencer, I'm not gonna like gas myself up too much on that front, but I have been online and been an online presence for over like 3 years now, which is bananas. But I have always treated, anyone that follows me on Instagram will know, I've always treated like that as my almost like personal vlog. Now, obviously I've built a business since then. I'm a full-time online coach and I absolutely adore my job. So of course there's been shifts, but the thing for me is I've always been very open about my life. Through those 3 years, you grow up a lot, things change, you know, relationships, friendships, life happens, family, just stuff comes at you and it's a really hard balancing act. And for me, it's taught me some lessons about what I'm willing to share, what I'm not, what I want to, what I'm comfortable with. And my guard has definitely kind of come up naturally, of course, as I've got older and all sorts of things. But my point is, I have always been online. I've shared a lot of my life online. And so when big changes that aren't maybe the most positive, maybe sometimes weren't your choice, whatever it is, it's a really hard thing to go through and to know what you can, can't, should, shouldn't, would want to, don't want to address. Especially when things are pretty fucking blatant. So just to cut to the chase, just before and around the time of my comp, basically the back end of December, a lot changed in my life. I went through a breakup. Anyone that was following me at the time will know that I was living with him, so that obviously entailed me moving out. That also then entailed me finding somewhere else to live. This all sounds really dramatic, and this is what I mean about having to be really careful about how I talk about things, because just out of respect for him, but also for me, I don't owe anyone an explanation. It's a very private thing, of course, but it was my choice. And that's what I mean about having to find somewhere to live. This is why I overthink my wording so much, and this is why until this time, I don't even know if I'm going to include all of this, but until this time, I've not spoken about things because it's just like, I'm such an overthinker and it stressed me out so much, especially being active on Instagram. I was like, well, it's obvious that I've moved and it's obvious that I'm living somewhere else and it's therefore obvious that, and I'm like, either no one cares or if they do, like, it's really not that deep and people, I hope, do understand. But this is why until now, like, the power of hindsight and having that emotional detachment from it was very much needed before I spoke about things. Anyway, to put it plainly, moved out, I've moved into somewhere else on my own and I'm absolutely loving it now, but it has taken until now to settle. Like, anyone that moves anyway knows how weird and hard that is. Obviously as well, I moved from my parents about 2.5, 3 hours away to move in with my ex. I have actually decided to stay around the area because it was a big part of my life for so long, and I think I worked really hard at trying to build a little life for myself because I did literally move here to be with him. I didn't want to be someone who was completely dependent on that person, and so for me it would have felt a little bit like I I was completely starting again, and actually I was really happy with, for the most part, with everything else. So I decided to stay. I've moved a little bit further away, but a general area, and moved in on my own. And I'm now at a point where I'm genuinely so happy. I don't want to address that relationship because, like I say, it is in the past, and I don't really know what I want to say about it in a public forum. But, you know, we're moving on to a new chapter, and I am really happy in that new chapter as well. So basically that's everything that's been going on, and it's been a lot of adjusting. And as everyone will know, if you watched my very first comp series, like coming back from that, post-comp blues and all of that are really real. So it was just a lot of shit all happening at the same time, and it was so overwhelming. I actually went to really quite a not so good place. I wasn't really looking after myself. Obviously around the time of comp, because of everything that was happening, I documented it all, of course, because it was the week of, and for me it was almost just like a brain dump. This was like a video diary in a really weird way around the time of comp, and it was so good for me. But as you guys would have seen, I was dropping weight. Post-comp, that kind of got even worse, just mostly from stress, anxiety, like moving anyway, getting all of that sorted is incredibly stressful, and naturally my appetite just went kaput. And I think my lowest body weight around start of January was about 61.6. So to put that into context, because I appreciate it was a long time ago, excuse me, around the time of competition, was averaging about 66 kilos of body weight, and I think my lowest around comp, if I remember correctly, was about 64 point something, 64.5, excuse me. So, and that was, I was stressing about that. So the fact that, sorry, I basically had my hair in plaits for 2 days and forgot about it, took it out this morning and brushed it, and she's serving the crunch. Look, please don't look at my hair. This is what I mean. I had to wait until I was in such a like secure place. I literally just woke up today and was like, you know what, I feel like I'm ready. So I have literally just sat down in front of a camera just to verbal vomit, so please excuse the state of me. Anyway, I'm gonna keep losing my train of thought, bear with. So yes, to put it into context, like the 64 kilo mark for me was stressful around the time of competition. Now granted, we had a competition to do. Dropping body weight is not the ideal thing when you're already comfortably in a weight class, because obviously performance, that needs to be the priority. So that's why that was stressful. But as I say, for additional context, you get to a point where I was 61.65. I don't think I've ever been that light really ever, other than when I was like a literal child. I'm talking in like the last 5 years. That is a very, very fucking light body weight for me. So the last couple of months have taken a lot of adjustment, acceptance, reflection, starting new chapters, pushing my business. I will talk about training and all of that because things have been very exciting, and I do want to keep you guys updated on that front. I just needed to do a little bit of context as to why I've been completely off the grid, why, especially on social media, if you guys follow me on Instagram or anything like that, why I haven't really addressed things. And it's been a real like mental toss up, existential crises, like just stress. But as I'm sure you guys, or I really hope that you can understand, it's a very hard thing to be able to juggle, and everyone will deal with things differently. This is just how I needed to, but I just wanted to give a little bit of context as to what's been going on. So that's that. I'm living in a new place, and I absolutely adore the place that I'm living in, but just the place that in life I'm in at the moment as well. Things are just good, and this year all I wanted was to push training and to push my business, and both of those things are very much happening, and I'm incredibly grateful. So let's start with the training update first and foremost. So obviously comp was middle of December. Now, as you guys know, if you will have watched the series, that was literally just a dusting off the cobwebs, getting back on the platform, having a bit of fun, seeing where we're at, especially mentally after coming back from an injury. I just needed to do it, and it just really set the tone and set a bit of a benchmark of like, right, end of 2023, where are we? What sorts of goals can we now set? Obviously life then threw a massive curveball at me, and it was quite hard. I know that if my coach watches this, we had a few, I wouldn't even call it conflicts, but I was struggling, and he was kind of really trying to push me, because post-comp especially, I knew that now having spoken to him, once again, in hindsight, he saw a real window of opportunity. Like, post-comp momentum is such a real and valuable thing, and I know he just didn't want me to miss out on the progress that could have been made. And obviously on my side, you can't see it when you're going through things, and it was so hard to claw myself back out of that. So there was like a good month, I'd say, through January, where it was just about trying to get me back mentally to a good place, so that physically we could then get what we needed. But obviously that comp very much set the benchmark of like where we can go, and I'm so grateful that I did it, and in light of everything, just really proud. So since then, obviously, yeah, there was a good month where I was just like getting back to like a good place, trying to sort my nutrition out, my life out, basically. So now we actually have another competition booked in. So 2024 will be the year that I just want to go to nationals and just see where we're at. Obviously, now that I'm in the open, for anyone that doesn't do powerlifting, obviously you've got your age cats and you've got your weight classes. So the junior weight cat, so juniors stops at the year that you turn 23. I'm currently now 25 as of this vlog, because my birthday was after comp. And so I'm in the open. The open is basically all the way up to 40, when you then have masters. So I basically have a long fucking time in my powerlifting career to build. So I'm just very much thinking long term, but obviously in the shorter term, it's really good for me to have these little benchmarks and milestones to keep me going. I think it's just good to test the waters. Especially now that I've got momentum, it would just be a really good thing to push for. So essentially, we've got a competition booked in the middle of May, and the goal for that is just going to be to push for the qualifying total to then go to nationals. So speaking through all of this, I constantly am fighting imposter syndrome, because I'm a bit like, oh, who fucking cares? Or like, it's just nationals. If you're just going to go, you know, what's the point? Because what's beyond that? Because I know that I'm not going to podium. I'm not going to come anywhere near. But I need to... mentally, I just wanted to get to a national platform and just see, like, it's a very different environment. Basically my goal would be just to not come last, but just have a little bit of fun. But once I've dipped my toe in the water, as I say, it's just constantly seeing where you can go. And that is just going to give me something to push more. Like, especially the last couple of months, I've seen with my mindset changing how hard I can work and how much I can achieve. Progress is not linear. I'm very much accepting we're not going to progress at this pace constantly now for the next, 15 years? Of course not. And life is going to come thick and fast. And I very much also learned a lesson from that this year. But at least just to give me the goal of, right, we've done our first national comp, so by the time that we decide to do the next one, where do we want to be at? And basically just setting me those milestones. I'm not talking myself out of it, and I'm aware that that imposter syndrome is already creeping back in. However, that is basically my 2024 goal. So we've got a qualifying total, hopefully, that we'll be able to hit in May. I'm in a very, very good position to be able to hit that. That's the only reason I'm saying maybe is because comp day, you never know. But right now, that's the more interim goal. If we get that, nationals will then be in November. Goal for that will obviously then just be to bring the A game. Like I say, I'm not going to be anywhere near hitting podium, which is actually in my books such a nice place to be, because it will just be me versus me. So just getting on a national platform and seeing what total we can put up, to be honest, like, I'm actually so excited. So I think it'll be really good. So yeah, we are now, as of this vlog, so today, so it is fast approaching, and when I say, guys, the last like 2 blocks of training have been absolutely insane. We've been hammering volume. I'm aware that obviously I haven't kept you guys up to date, and I'm kind of in 2 minds about doing a comp prep series again, because it's just a benchmark for qualifying total. Probably just a bit more of a casual approach to YouTube, to be honest, because I have missed it so much, but so much has been happening that I just needed to focus on getting myself settled before I made any kind of a comeback. So today is just going to be very much a big brain dump, regroup. Hi, this is where I'm at, this is what life is looking at, and then just try and get my groove back a little bit. So I will definitely take you guys along for some of the sessions. I will definitely try and do a little mini vlog on the day, potentially, just to show you where we're at. For me as well, just documenting these milestones is really exciting. So even if it's not as invested as the last competition will be, there's a reason, because it is just pushing for a qualifying total. The big one will be then the road to nationals and seeing what happens there. On that note as well, if there is anything that you guys would like to see, because I have missed you and I have missed being present, if there is anything that you would like to see from me, you know, a little bit wider to training, or if there's anything specific to training that you want to see, you'd like me to talk through, even if it's just like a chatty style vlog or in the gym, whatever, I am all ears, because any ideas, any requests will be very much appreciated. Now, obviously comp day, little recap. We hit a 125 kilo squat, which was a matched comp PB. Bench, we landed on 67.5. We did load up 70 for a third attempt. It just wasn't there on that third attempt. I just lost position and drive, so it didn't move, but fine. And then we hit a 150 deadlift, which was a 10 kilo comp PB. My bench was also a 5 kilo comp PB as well, and then squats was a matched PB. So like I say, really good day. Now, squats and I for forever have been not friends. It's mentally been an absolute uphill battle. I am so happy to report, touch wood, the curse has been broken. The squats have been blowing up, like they've been going so well. And like I say, obviously we really had to break through a lot of the external things, like, oh, my back hurts, hang on. We had to break through a lot of the externals. I just fucking getting to a point where my appetite was back, so I was eating enough and then sorting that out, and there was just so much going on, and it's been going so well. Like, my position has improved massively, my confidence has improved massively. Like, so much of it is just pushing past those little benchmarks. Go and have a look if you don't already. Follow me on Instagram, bethfit.uk. All of my recent training vlogs, videos and stuff are all up on there. Deadlifts have also been going pretty well. What hasn't happened is it's not gone down and it's not done this, which for my very, very first comp prep, if any of you guys followed my YouTube from way back then, the one that I did in 2022, what happened when my squats started blowing up is my deadlifts went really inconsistent, and it was literally a case of walking into the gym being like, well, what's going to happen today then? Like, that was very much the vibe. That hasn't been the case. It's been incredibly strong throughout. Basically everything's been working. My deadlifts has been really consistent. My squats been absolutely popping off, and it's one of those where the physical progress has been going so fast that my mental progress hasn't quite caught up with where I'm actually at. So it'll be interesting to see where we go with things like attempt selections, setting openers and things for actual comp day. Bench has been going so well. The one thing that I will say for myself is I have made such a point of being sensible with my art. Not that I wasn't, I've never been a client that's just gone like, fuck it, balls to walls, anything like that, but just intentionally leaving things with room, or leaving it where we go, I just want to make the absolute most out of this variation. So with bench, we've been running really strict tempo work, so like 4-2-0 tempo, so basically a 4-second eccentric, a 2-second pause at the chest, and then your normal drive up, just literally running that as a single. And actually that load has been creeping up, so using micro plates, for example, just to really make the most out of the RPEs. The load has really gradually been creeping up within the same RPE, so i.e. the intensity or the exertion hasn't gone up, sorry, but the load has, to match that same exertion, which is a very good sign. And I hit 70, which, as I say, mentally has just put me in such a position of confidence. So for me, for example, I will be competing as an under 69. I've got my weight back up. It's now sitting steady at about 65 kilos. So actually, in the grand scheme of things, it's still quite light for me, but it's just a position that we're able to maintain, and my strength is fucking blown up. I just got to a point with my nutrition where I know that it's consistent. I don't have to worry about it. So we're in a really good place, and it means I've got plenty of room in terms of longevity to grow and push into my weight cat. There was just no point dropping down to a 63 because yes, the qualifying total would be easier to hit, but actually for longevity, I'm like, why? What's the point? I would always weigh up, if you look at the long term, where does this put me competitively? And as a 63 and as a 69, like, if we would look at, like, I don't know, top 10 in England, let's say I could land on 9th spot as a 63 or 8th spot as a 63 versus 9th or 10th as a 69. Like, there's no point. Why would I drop weight cat and put myself in a more difficult position in terms of prep and actually be maxing out the weight cat for putting myself in the same position at a higher weight cat, which I don't then have to worry about dropping weight or cutting or prepping, and actually I've got so much more longevity in just for 1 year at nationals. For me, it's then also like, well, if you have to drop weight cat to hit the QT, for me, I'm like, what's the point, you know? So I'm basically just going into it incredibly comfortable. So yeah, we've got a 360 kilo total as the qualifying total to then get to nationals as an under 69. So that's what we're aiming for at my competition, which actually the position that we're in now should be. So not maxing out, not absolutely selling my soul on the platform to get there, but also at this point, not like super easy. It will be a bit of a push, but an achievable push, which is very exciting. So that's life. That's what's been going on. It's so weird because I thought when I was younger at 25, I would literally thought I'd be like married with children, settled in my career, and I've just had this whirlwind couple of months where I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? It's been crazy, but I am so at this point now that I'm settled and I've worked to get myself really, really hard work actually to get myself to a point where I'm like settled and happy. I am so grateful for this little life, like so incredibly grateful. Like I spent yesterday dancing around my kitchen, making pancakes for brunch and just like, oh, it was just so wholesome. And that really has been the vibe of life lately. It's just wholesome, hard work, and just complete gratitude. And I'm so excited for this year, but I just wanted to jump on and just give you guys like a quick update. I would love to hear from you guys if there is anything specific that you want to hear, see from me. I'll try and do a comp day vlog, I think, but I just want to get back to being a little bit more present. So if there's anything that you want to see, that would definitely give me a bit of a push to help do that. I am gonna leave it there for today, otherwise I could literally sit and talk for another hour and no one wants to watch that. So that is my life update. That's where things are. I will, yeah, try and be a bit more present and keep you guys posted. If you've made it to this point, thank you for watching and keeping updated with my life. But otherwise, I promise I will see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you very soon.